So I'm going to borrow a sports term on this Hanukkah, Christmas 2025. Happy holidays to you, and thanks for joining me here on the Red Dawn Media channel. You've got a president-elect, the 47th president-to-be, Donald J. Trump. He's standing in the on-deck circle waiting for his turn at bat. His first at-bat came in 2016 through 2020 when he was the 45th president of the United States. And then we know what happened. Joe Biden weaseled, corrupted his way into becoming the 46th POTUS. But things changed on November 5th of this year when we the people spoke and fired Joe Biden and told him and his corrupt crime family syndicate, the Bidens, to gather their things and get the hell out of the White House. Come January 20th, 2025, Trump is back in office. And you're going to have Donald J. Trump looking to make America great again. Meanwhile, in the final days of office, Joe Biden continues to destroy America one day at a time. Most recently, the stupid decision that Brandon and his handlers, Sleepy Joe, a.k.a. Brandon, made was to commute the sentences of 37 of the 40 inmates sitting in federal penitentiary on Skid Row, death row. Joe Biden commutes the sentences. They get to live, breathe the same air we do, 3 hots in a cot on taxpayer dollars. Meanwhile, the 3 that remain on death row include the likes of the Pittsburgh synagogue shooter and 2 other scumbags, including the surviving Boston Marathon bomber. The other 37 committing some of the most heinous crimes and murders that you can think of, including this guy, Len Davis, a former New Orleans Police Department officer, 1994. He was convicted of murder of Kim Groves. Kim had filed a complaint in New Orleans back in the early 90s of a brutal beating, a brutality claim against Davis. She was the witness. Davis later found out through another officer that Groves had filed a complaint, and he set up a hitman to kill her. There was another investigation around Davis, a drug investigation, and these charges somehow came out. And it was found that Davis was the culprit responsible for Groves' death. And he was sent to life behind bars in the Fed pen, put on Skid Row, but that's all changed. Now his family and the other families, they have to live with the fact while they suffer day in and day out and mourn the loss of their relatives that these murderers get to live their lives. And they won't be facing execution. Here's a quote from Corey Groves, the son of Kim Groves. My family has been living with the nightmare of Len Davis for over 30 years. I've always wanted him to spend the rest of his life in prison, have to wake up every morning and think about what he did when he took our mother from us. Now, I can't imagine the anguish again that these people go through on a day-to-day basis, as you just saw in that Groves quote that I read out loud to you. And I can't imagine the fact that they have to celebrate this Christmas knowing that these people, these monsters, will continue to live. And again, not be executed. Trump's going to handle things differently because Trump doesn't play. In fact, Trump commented, of course he did, with a Truth Social post. Take a look at it. Joe Biden just commuted the death sentence on 37 of the worst killers in our country. When you hear the acts of each, you won't believe that he did this. Makes no sense. Relatives and friends are further devastated. They can't believe this is happening. Absolutely correct. Yep. Biden makes another deal with the devil. Trump again hits the nail on the head. So why did Joe Biden do this, and how did his White House spin it? Well, they try to spin everything as if the American public doesn't know better. And here's a quote from the White House. When President Biden came into office, his administration imposed a moratorium on federal executions. And his actions today will prevent the next administration from carrying out the execution sentences that would not be handed down under the current policy and practice, the White House said. That's exactly right. The move is aimed at preventing Trump's administration from carrying out executions that would not take place under that moratorium and Biden policy set in 2021. Playing politics until the very end and letting murderers live instead of being executed on Skid Row. That's Joe Biden for you. That's the rad left. I keep saying this, and I'll say it again. January 20, 2025, in the nation's capital on Inauguration Day, cannot come soon enough. Then we'll have law and order restored in the United States of America.